Hi, welcome to Social Study Briefs, a 4th grade Unit 2 with Eric, the United States in spatial terms. You're going to be using a globe for Lesson 1 to learn about the different hemispheres that we have that are divided up by our equator and the prime meridian, which cuts down the middle of the globe-ish. You're going to be learning about these hemispheres, which are North, South, East, and West hemispheres. What continents are on these hemispheres, and that some continents or countries are even divided by the equator or the prime meridian. These invisible lines create these hemispheres. Do we all know what hemisphere we live on? The northern hemisphere, of course. Now, Lesson 2, you're going to be learning about physical characteristics of the United States, because that's what we're learning about. You're going to look at physical characteristics of the United States, like a mountain range, a plateau, a desert, coastal plains, something like that. Then, you're going to get a blank one that'll eventually look something like this. And you're going to label where these physical characteristics are in the United States. So, the interior plains, or the Midwest, where we live. Mountains in the west and in the east, a coastal plain and a plateau. And that's going to create the physical characteristics of the United States. Then, in Lesson 3, you're going to be taking those already physical characteristics that you know, and you're going to be combining them with human characteristics. You're going to be taking a physical characteristic such as mountain ranges, as learned in the last lesson, and combining them with a physical characteristic that's human related. So, speaking of human characteristics, how many of you have ever been on a highway or an interstate? That's an example of a human characteristic. In this lesson, you're going to be learning about these interstates and highways, where they are and where they go across the United States. Lesson 4 is going to talk all about the United States climate. You're going to be looking at the temperature of different states and cities. You're going to be looking at the precipitation for those areas. And you're going to be looking at snowfall for those areas as well. You're going to see graphs and maps that look kind of like this, that show whether or not they get large amounts or smaller amounts. Lesson 5, you're going to be learning about the regions in the United States. You have the climate regions: tropical, desert, marine, continental, polar, and highland. Ones that are based off landforms, such as the Rocky Mountains or the Appalachian Mountains. Unique regions, such as the Sun Belt, Four Corners, the Deep South, the Rust Belt. 5 regions: Northeast, Southeast, Middle West, Southwest, and West. The 8 regions, which are the New England, Middle Atlantic, Southeast, Great Lakes states, Plain states, Southwest, Pacific state, Mountain state. You're going to be looking more in depth on the 8 regions, which, as I just said, are New England, Middle Atlantic, Southeast, Great Lakes states, Plain states, Southwest, Pacific states, and Mountain states, ranging anywhere from Connecticut to Wyoming. Lesson 6, you're going to be looking at a different region, one of the 8 regions, the Great Lakes states region, which is where we live, and what makes up the Great Lakes, which are Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. You're going to be looking at some different facts about our Great Lakes, such as that the Great Lakes region is a center of North America's industrial and agricultural heartland, or that this Great Lakes basin is home to some 40 million residents, both being Canadian and American. You're then going to look at some statistics about our Great Lakes. Erie, Huron, Michigan, Ontario, and Superior. You're going to look at their length and width, average depth, the deepest part, and some important facts, such as that Lake Erie is the smallest, Superior is the largest and deepest, Ontario is connected to Lake Erie by a canal, and that Lake Michigan is the only Great Lake entirely in the U.S. That's why it's called Lake Michigan. All these lessons combined is going to create Unit 2 of 4th grade Social Studies, which is the United States in spatial terms. All of those are learning about the United States, from climate to regions to what hemisphere we're in to the physical characteristics, human characteristics. Just everything that could describe the United States in some kind of spatial term. And that is Unit 2, the United States in spatial terms.